All right. Also, just so everyone knows, the registration for the September classes has started. So if you want to join in September, just tell your parents, contact us, and we will send them all the necessary information, timetable, costing, registration form. All right. So just remind them if you are interested in joining in September. So let's move on with this. Let's see if you all can remember the storyline. I'm having trouble remembering the storyline here, right? So I know this guy was he was right. He was stuck in the medieval times here. Right. I remember they had to go and see the king because they were new to the land. All right. So I want everyone to draw this diagram for me and just wait on me and I want to discuss, right? So we clearly have a pentagon, but even better, well, in my opinion, better, we have a regular pentagon. From last week, what does regular mean? Well, regular means that all the sides have the same size, okay? So all lengths of the sides are the same, which means that all the angles in the pentagon, all the internal angles, each one is equal. Now, I know that if you ignore the line in the middle, right? If you ignore the line in the middle, right? I'm talking about this line. When I say all the angles are equal, I'm talking about these angles here. So what you need to do first in order to find y, right? In order to find y, I need you to find the size of each of these angles first. Do you all think you all can do that for me? Go back to last week's formula and see if you could reason out the size of each of those angles, right? All right, so I'll give everybody a few seconds. So this is a pentagon, right? It has 5 sides. To find the total of all the angles, we have to use this formula. This is straight out of last week. So when we're using this formula, the letter N represents how much sides the shape has. Now it's a pentagon, so it has 5 sides, right? You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to replace the letter N with 5. So we end up with 5 minus 2. Minus 2 is just part of the formula. When you buy the formula, it comes with that. So we work out the brackets first. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 by 180. And I believe it's 540 degrees. Now, here's the thing. If you add up all 5 angles, you will get 540. But we only want one of the angles, which means since all the angles are equal and there are 5 of them, we divide by 5 and we will get 108 degrees. So each of these guys here has an equivalent value of 108 degrees. I want you now to use that information to find the value of y. See if we could find y. Y is just the angle between this straight line and this slanted line here. And I'll give you another hint. Well, remind you of another hint. All the sides of this pentagon is the same. They are talking about the exterior part because they said it was regular, right? So send your answers, and of course I'll read through as much as I can. Why you got to do. So the thing about it, if you pay attention to the whole shape now, you might confuse yourself. So how about this? How about we pay attention just to the top part, Remember, we said this angle here, this top angle is definitely 108 degrees. We had calculated that from over here. This length and this length is the same. So this length and this length is the same. What kind of triangle is that? That has two sides with the same length. It starts with the letter I. Well, what kind of triangle is that? Right, it's an isosceles triangle for sure. And what do we know about isosceles triangle? We did this on the first day of class. Here's the vertex angle, but these two angles here, both of them will be the same. So remember, all the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So to find one of these angles, we take 180 minus the 108. And when we do that, we will get 72 degrees. But 72 is the sum of both of them together, the remainder. To get the value of each one of them, and I only want the value of one of them, we have to take the 72 and divide it by 2, which gives me 36 degrees. Some of you all stopped at 72, but the question wasn't asking for both of them combined. It was asking for just the value of one of them. For those who got it wrong, you have a better understanding of it now. Let's see what happens next. So let's see what this quest is about. So apparently the king's son here, this guy here with the big teeth, right, stole something from an evil fish wizard. So apparently there's a wizard who is a fish. All right, so they want us to go and return whatever he stole from the wizard. I don't think this is going to go too well. All right, so look at these scary looking questions. Let's do one at a time. I'm not going to ask you to draw these diagrams, right? I want everyone to get started on A. You don't have to draw the diagram, or if you just want to draw a sketch, go ahead. But if you could just watch it and start the calculations without drawing the diagram, feel free. But I'm going to give you 2 minutes to come up with something, the value of X. If you all notice, this is two pentagons stuck together. So somebody took glue and they took two pentagons and they stuck them together. Right? I mean, for each one, right? I think everyone realized it's what? Well, I said it so much times, it's a pentagon. So just like in the last question, we replace the letter N with 3. So 3 minus, sorry, not 3, with, how you call it? 5, because that's the amount of sides. So 5 minus 2, and then we multiply it by 180, and we get 540 degrees. Now, that's the total of all the internal angles. So we have to divide it by what? 5. And of course, when we divide it by 5, we get 108 degrees, just like the previous question, because it's only coincidence that the last question was also a pentagon. So that means all of these angles here, the inside pink angles, each of them individually is 108 degrees. So that means here's, but more importantly, this one here is 108. I don't think we should waste time doing the other one because we know the other one is the same exact shape. It's also a pentagon. So that means he is 108, he is 108, he is 108, he is 108, and of course, he is also 108. Now, I want you all to look at this area here. Look at this area where the X is, this junction here. So I'm going to draw back this here. it have this line coming down, boom, this line going like this, and this line going like this. And they ask us for X. This is X here, right? Remember, we now reason out that this angle was 108 and this angle was also 108. If I connect all three angles in that area, what shape will I get? I kind of giving it away here. What shape is that? If I connect all three angles, that's a circle, correct? Because if you connect all of them, you'll get a perfect circle. A circle is how much degrees again? 360 degrees. So if you know two of them, shouldn't it be super easy to find the missing one? Because all three angles have to add up to how much? 360. See if you could figure out the value of X now for me. Tristan, correct. Arisa, correct. If you add up 108 and 108, how much will we get? 108 plus 108 is 216. Minus that from the 360, and we'll get 144 degrees. And if you don't believe me, take 144, add 108, and our next 108, and I guarantee you, you will get 360 degrees. All right? Take down what you need. So just to save some time, we know the first shape is how much? A pentagon. So we know in a pentagon, we did it twice this morning. If we do the calculations, the angle over here is going to be 108. But what about the octagon? If we use the formula, an octagon has 8 sides. So it's 8 minus 2 multiplied by 180. That was the formula, okay? So 8 minus 2 is 6. Multiplied by 180, it's 1080 degrees. But that's all the angles, all 8 angles added up will give me 1080. Now it's a regular shape, which means all the angles are the same. So we divide it by 8 to get the value of 1. And I'm getting 135 degrees. So this angle here, well, all of them here is 35 each, 135 each, sorry. So look at this. I think it should be easy to see from there. It's still a circle. Here's 108. Write that 108 bad, right? And here's 135, and we're trying to find X. So once again, all the angles have to add up to how much? 360, because all three combined gives you almost a perfect, well, not almost, it does give you a perfect circle. So add up 108, 135, and minus it from 360. When I add up these two, I am getting 243. And then I minus it from 360, and I get 117 degrees. 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. Hello. Can I call you back? All right. I think part C is well, everything here is based on the same concept, right? We from the part B, since this is a regular octagon, we know here is 135, but we have the answer. We could steal the answer from the first one. I don't think it's necessary for us to go and redo that working today. But for the hexagon, it has 6 sides, so it's 6 minus 2 multiplied by 180. So in a hexagon, 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 multiplied by 180 is 720, right? But there are 6 equal angles. So we divide it by 6. I am getting 120 degrees, but that means each of these angles in the hexagon, including this one, is 120. I think you all can more than figure it out from there. Because in this section here, or this area, all triangles must add up to 360. Because when you already look at it, it's a circle in that particular area when you combine all three angles. So add 120 and 135 and minus it from 360. And let's see what you get. Adding up these two, 120 plus 135, I am getting 255. So if I minus it, let me see if you all are correct. Yep. For the people who sent 105 degrees, you are correct. Try the last one. I don't think the last one is going to be hard at all, right? Because this one is a pentagon and this one is a hexagon. We already did the pentagon and the hexagon at some point in today's questions. So I guess you could steal those answers and just throw it into the diagram, right? Most popular answer is 132 degrees, right? So for the hexagon, you're seeing the answer over here for one angle. He is 135, right? And for the pentagon, I think he was what? 108. That was from part A. So all three angles have to do what? Add up to 360. So you add up the 108 and the 135. Oh, it's 135? No, something is wrong here. That's how. The hexagon is how much? I made a mistake. Anybody get time right? The hexagon is supposed to be a 120. That is this one here. I mixed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have to add up the 108 and the 120. 108 and 120. And I get 228. We minus it from the 360. And this is why the majority of the people were telling me 132 degrees. Right. So apparently you all made the journey to find this fish wizard. Trying to remember what he looked like. Oh, that's a fish wizard there. All right, so we'll see how that confrontation goes. All right, so there are two questions in front of us. Question 4. Give both a try, right? And feel free to send your answers out. I haven't worked out the question as yet. This is the first time I'm actually attempting these questions myself. But giving you a 5 minutes and send what you can, and let's see if you're right. There's nothing really new about question 4. That is what I'm realizing. Remember, a shape could have 4 sides, 5 sides, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It could have a million sides. But we have a formula that allows us to calculate what? All the angles within any shape. And that angle is n minus 2 multiplied by 180. So at the beginning of the question, we just have to replace the letter n with 30. T minus 2 is 28. Take that 28 and multiply it by 180. So when we do that, how much of y'all at least saw this part on your calculator? 5,040 degrees. Now, that's not the final answer, but you should have seen that at some point in the question, in your working, sorry. Right. Now, here's the thing. If a shape has 5 sides, that means it has 5 angles. If a shape has 4 sides, it will have 4 angles. So if a crazy shape has 30 sides, then obviously it's going to have 30 angles. So to find the value of each angle, and it's a regular shape, meaning that all the sides have this, all the angles have the same value, we just divide it by 30. And how much? Well, the final answer would be 168 degrees. Here's what I'm going to do, right? I think it's best that I work through question 5 right away. Question 5 is it's based on last week's theory, but it's going to give some trouble, right? So last week, I was discussing that you can actually use the exterior angle, right? You could use the exterior angle to figure out how much sides a shape have. For example, remember in the question we just did, we did a pentagon. And let me just take a piece of a pentagon, right? Like one corner of the pentagon. Remember in a pentagon, the interior angle would be what? 108. How much would the exterior angle be? Remember, to calculate the exterior angle, you just have to take the interior angle and minus it from 180. This is straight out of last week. So how much is the exterior angle? Just that, right? It will be 72 degrees, right? Now, we know this is a pentagon. So we know a pentagon has 5 sides. But let's say somebody didn't know that. How would they figure out how much sides the shape has? Once it's a regular shape, you take the exterior angle and you always take 360 and divide it by the value of the exterior angle. Always the exterior. And we did about 5 or 6 examples of that last week. So 360 divided by 72, and that gives us what? 5. So it has what? 5 sides. So in today's question, it's almost the same thing. They gave us this angle here. So isn't it possible to find the exterior angle? How much is the exterior angle? If the interior angle is 173, how much is that exterior angle? Guys, real people getting this wrong. Okay. All right. Let me try this. Let me try this. How did we get the exterior angle, right? If the interior angle is 108, to get the exterior, we always minus it from 180 because the interior and exterior form a straight line. So let's try back this slowly. Then just answer the question I'm asking. Don't go forward and answer another question. You have another shape. We don't know how much sides it has. All I know is the interior angle is 173. The exterior angle would be 7 degrees. I think we could all agree with that. Okay? Because 7 plus 173 will give us 180. So to find out how much sides this shape has, you always take 360 and you divide it by the exterior angle, the outside angle. You will notice that in the first example, when you divided it, you get a nice whole number, 5 sides. But do this calculation now and tell me if you're getting a nice whole number. I don't think so. You will get 360 divided by 7, and I am getting roughly 51.428, and the value goes on and on and on. So that means it's not possible, it's impossible for a shape to have a fraction or a decimal as a side. Think about it. At any point in time, when somebody asks you how much sides does a shape have, did you ever have to say it had 4.82 sides? No, it's always a whole number. So that means that whenever the angle is 173, this cannot be a regular polygon, because a polygon, for the amount of sides, it would have been a nice whole number, not a number and a decimal attached, right? So I hope that answers the question there, right? We're supposed to get a whole number. So take a 20 seconds and we will move on. All right, so do you all think the prince is going to return the stolen head, or he's going to cause some sort of confusion? Do you think he's just going to hand it over? What do you all think? All right, I have faith in this guy. I think he's going to try to resolve this peacefully and give back the head, because we don't want a war in the kingdom. See, he did say he was sorry. Have some faith in people. All right, looks like the war is on. All right, so this question here today, if you did the homework like videos 1 to 7, with a little bit of help, you're going to be able to get out this question. This one, I want you to draw properly in your book. And the aim of the question is to find the value of X. I'm giving you about 3 minutes to draw and come up with something, but it's only going to make sense if you did the homework. Get this up. So first of all, if we were to add up all the angles, let me just say if, how much degrees we supposed to get in total when we use this formula? How much we supposed to get for Pentagon? Right, Mackenzie, correct. Because remember, it's 5 sides, right? So 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 multiplied by 180 is 540 degrees. So that means if we add up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles, even though the angles looking kind of scary, but with a little X and whatnot, the point is when we add up all the angles, we're supposed to get 540 degrees. We can make an equation out of this. This is where videos 4, 5, and 6 from the homework comes into play. So let's add up all the angles. It doesn't matter where we start. Now let me just start with this one and then proceed in this direction. Here's 33. We're going to add how much? Right? X plus 5. So X plus 75. That's this guy here. Who we have to add now? X. Add Mr. 2X. And then add Mr. 140. If we add up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles, we're supposed to get 540 degrees. Here's what you need to do now. You just need to use your algebra skills to solve for X, to get X on one side and everyone else on the other side. So take it from there, guys. Go back to your notes that you did for homework on videos 5, 6, and 7. Let's see. So according to the homework, right, when you're trying to solve for X, the first thing you should probably do is try to add up all the X's and then add up all the non-X's. So let me just focus on the line, everything with an X in it. He has an X. In case you can't remember, X is the same thing as 1X. Just no examiner is going to put the 1 in front. Here you have another x, so he's ready, 1x, and then you have 2x. How much x's do I have in all? If I have 1x and next 1x and 2x, how much x's is that in all? That's 4 x's, right? 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4. So when you sum up all the x's, you get 4x. Let's add up everything without an x. 33, 75, and 140. Add up those three values, 33, 75, and 140. Let's pretend it's money. Somebody had $33, they get $75 more, and somebody give them $140. How much is that? 33 plus 75 plus 140. And I am getting 248. So in other words, this side looks scary, but when we combine all the x's and combine all the non-x's, look what we get, something that doesn't look too scary. And this is supposed to be equal to 540 degrees. So let's solve for x, because the question is asking us to solve for x, which means we have to get x on one side and everyone else on the other side. So we're going to take the positive 248. When you throw across a positive, what do you all get again? When you throw something across, you're supposed to get the opposite. So when you throw across positive 248, you're going to get minus 248. Work this out on your calculator. How much is 540 minus 248? Help me out there. 540 minus 248. Right, Tristan, correct. 292. That's what I'm seeing on my calculator. But are we finished with the question? Remember, we didn't do nothing with the 4x yet. We only throw across the 248. Right, correct. We're not finished. We want to solve for x, which means we want x alone on one side. We don't want the 4. So in the homework, I showed you that when a number and a letter is touching, it's a secret multiply. And when you throw across a multiply, you get what? A divide. And remember, the sign does not change when you throw across a multiply. I remember saying that over and over and over in the homework. Divide this, and then you are finished. Because when you've finished doing that, x alone is on one side, and everybody else is on the other side. So take 292 and divide it by 4, and then you finish. All right, Elijah, correct now. 73 degrees. So x, the value of x is 73.